welcome to the latest edition of Tom's Trains. Thank you for joining me once again. We've got a few things coming up today. We're going to be looking at making some cylinder drains. You can see them here. I fitted them to the W1. So they're looking quite nice. We've also made some guard irons for the W1 that is rapidly approaching completion. And I'll show you how to blacken down those guard irons and the cylinder drains with some of this stuff. This is Birchwood KC Brass Black, as you can see there. So we'll do that, and we'll also open up and see what we've got in the latest delivery as well. Thank you very much for those people who have subscribed to the channel already. I really do appreciate that, and I also appreciate the kind comments and feedback that you've given. Please keep the comments coming. I need to know exactly what sort of format you like with the channel. See what works, see what doesn't work, see what you want me to do. So I really do appreciate that. So if you like the channel, please do share it with your friends and let them know. So using the wonders of modern technology, then let's step back to earlier on in the week, where we take a look at making the guard irons and the cylinder drains for the W1. As always, then with a project like this, just starting off by looking at the diagrams, just having a look at the front guard iron there, what we're trying to build, and just showing there that the small guard iron is already included, and also looking at the reference photo, just in the Evans register at the back of the book is a really nice picture of the W1 in the condition that I want to build it in, and it's a really good idea just to have a look at the picture and see what exactly you're trying to make. And I'm just highlighting here the guard irons and the cylinder drains, and that's what we're going to try and build today. Using the diagram then, I'm just using a piece of brass strip just to get something, piece of material of the correct width. It's always a good idea if you're scratch building or if you're building kits to have plenty of brass strip and offcuts, etc. Also selecting some 0.45 brass rod to make the cylinder drains out of. Just measuring the depth of the guard irons. Easier to measure twice than cut once, as the old saying goes, and here I am just drawing on the approximate angle of the guard iron from the drawing. And then using my zero cutters just to get the approximate angle of the initial part of the guard irons. These guard irons were part of the locomotive until about 1953. And they were subsequently removed and the cylinder drains were cut short, and this is the case with most of the A4s as well. They had guard irons up until about 53, 54, and then they were progressively removed as the locos went in for servicing. Just filing up now, just to get the approximate correct shape with a coarse file, and then with a finer file just rounding off the edge of the guard iron, and a bit of final filing away just to get everything nice and smooth. Once more checking against the diagram. This time I was lucky, got it right first time. Doesn't always happen like that, of course. And now just measuring the depth against the locomotive to make sure everything sits correctly relative to the track. Don't want anything to catch on the point work, etc. And now I'm bending the 90-degree angle for the first bend in the guard iron there. Again, measuring using the digital calipers, incredibly useful. And now I'm forming it into a goalpost type shape. The bar at the top will glue into the locomotive body, and I'm just checking again, just to make sure that I'm about right with this. Cutting off the excess material, trying to level it up. I'm doing all this by eye now, just forming the angle on the other side. It doesn't have to be exact. We're just trying to get an approximation of the guard iron, and again in with the coarse and then the fine file, just to tidy up. I'm now forming the flare. The guard iron didn't come vertically down, there was a slight kink in it, so I'm just approximately bending that in with the flat pliers. The guard iron's complete, so I'm just checking now against the model once more just to see how it sits in there. I found I just needed to remove a little bit of material from it. It's just the fixing screw holes for the Hornby body. And now I'm going to fix it in using a 2-part epoxy resin. This stuff's called Patox. This is the stuff we get out here in Hong Kong. Obviously in the UK you could use araldite. It's formulated specifically for sticking metal, and I find it really useful thing to have in the toolbox. Use it quite a lot. I just mix it up on a scrap piece of card with a cocktail stick. Make sure you get equal parts and mix it in thoroughly until it's all the same colour. I've added a bit of the epoxy resin into the model, and I'm now just fitting the guard iron, making sure it's all level. I just had to use a blob of super glue just to secure it. Now we're moving on to the cylinder drains themselves. Looking at the underside of the cylinders, I mark approximately the location and then use a pin vise with a 0.5mm drill bit just to make the holes. I've got some brass stock now and I'm just bending that up. All of this, as I said before, is done by eye. Nothing too exact. It's just to get a replication really of what's happening on the prototype. Add a bit of interest, add a bit of extra detail to the model. You could also use this method to replace the Hornby ones as supplied with their A4s. I don't like the look of the plastic cylinder drains, so you could always consider using this technique to improve your ready-to-run locomotives as well. I'm just putting in the second cylinder drain now and bending out, using the first one as a template. And now I've got both of them fitted. They're quite over length as you can see, but I want a bit of room to allow me to bend the cylinder drains into shape. I'm now just tacking the two pieces of brass together with the soldering iron, a little bit of flux and some 145 solder, and a tiny amount of solder. I just don't want this flowing through, so it's just a tap with the soldering iron just to secure the two bits of brass together. Once that's done, I just clean up with the glass fibre pen to remove any residue. I've now got both of them made, so I'm just forming the bends and just a little bit of messing around to try and get them to clear the front bogie. Took a little bit of time, and I'm just checking them against the guard irons now to see that they're okay. And once you're happy with them, you can glue them in. Just some regular super glue. Okay, hope you enjoyed that little clip there on how to make the guard irons and the cylinder drains for this W1. Definitely something you could apply to your ready-to-run locomotives to try and improve them. The plastic ones supplied, in my opinion, always look a little bit clunky, and I think you can improve the finesse of your models by just making this slight improvement. Obviously, the most important thing really is to check for the clearances for the front bogie. So I'm now going to show you how I actually blackened down the brass. It's very bright at the moment, looks completely unprototypical, and I'm going to use some of this stuff. This is Birchwood Casey brass black metal finish, and it says to blacken or antique brass, copper or bronze. So I got this from Eileen's Emporium and I used it on the valve gear here, and I think I achieved a really nice sort of worn in finish, very metallic looking finish, far better than you could achieve with painting on that. And we're going to use the same thing on the guard irons and cylinder drains. Incidentally, the cylinder drain pipes themselves in real life would be held to these guard irons permanently. However, because the cylinder drain pipes themselves are attached to the chassis and the guard irons are attached to the body, I need to remove the chassis from the body occasionally. So in order to prevent it being a problem, I just bent the cylinder drain pipes in so they attach with tension onto the front of the guard irons there. Let's have a look now at using the brass black metal finish, and I'll show you how that works. What's really important with this stuff is to ensure that the metal is completely clean and free of grease. If you have any grease on there, the brass black won't attack the brass and you won't get that nice black finish. So I'm just going to pull out and separate the parts now. And we just need a cocktail stick. I've got a bowl of water here. Standard H2O, absolutely fine for this. Lukewarm, warm, cold, doesn't matter, that just neutralises the blackening fluid. So cotton wool bud into the blackening fluid and then just straight on to the brass like so. And I think you can see that starting to attack that already. I'm just going to brush that on there using a reasonable amount on both sides like so with the cotton wool bud. And you want to leave it on there for about a minute or so just to allow that chemical reaction to take place. I'm just putting it on both sides on there, and you can already see that that is going black. Pop that back there for a moment, and the same with these front guard irons. Just applying the blackening fluid like so. If you need a bit more, don't be afraid to add it on. And then all I'm going to do is leave this for about a minute or so. Just reapply where necessary. I'll leave that for a minute or so. We'll come back to look at it, and once we've done that, we can start to wipe it off and neutralise. I've left the fluid now on there for about a minute or so. I'll just put the lid back on here just in case we knock it. And now I've just dipped the cotton wool bud in the bog standard H2O, and we're going to neutralise the blackening fluid. So let's go in there and just start to wipe it off. You can see there the material just coming off onto the cotton wool bud there. It's kind of blue and black, and there's some areas you'll find that haven't caught fully, and they will still be, you can still see the shine of the brass coming through. That's not a problem at all. So we'll just clean that off, and all this does, it just stops the reaction really. So I'm just cleaning that off like so. Doesn't matter if you get a few flecks of cotton around, because we can clean that up later. And then the same thing with these guard irons here. Like so. Right, now step back again, let it dry, and we'll come back and we'll repeat the process and try and build that really nice finish like we have here, that sort of shiny metallic, worn down, still kind of clean looking metal finish. The bits of metal are now dry, and what I'm going to do is grab my burnishing pen and just run over, just like so, very, very lightly over the top of the brass, particularly on the outside, doesn't matter so much on the inside, like so, and that just polishes it off just a little bit. Just a bit on the back there, same on here, like so. So I'm not rubbing it much, just a little bit on there, and the same on the guard irons there, just a tiny bit, just a little polish like that. Okay, that's fine. This serves a couple of purposes. First of all, it sort of helps to scratch the surface a little bit, helps the brass black to bed in, and just enables us to sort of get a different patina, sort of a different finish. And now once that's done, we can go in once more with the brass black and reapply. The blackening fluid has done its job once more, just going in with the moistened cotton wool bud to remove the excess fluid from there. And you can see, I hope, that we're getting a darker sort of patina on there now. Same also with the cylinder drains themselves. Just wiping that off, and there's no way that I could paint that sort of finish. There's no way I could get that metallic, dirty looking sheen on there by using paints. You know, I've used metallic paints quite a lot, especially for model aircraft and everything else like that, but there's really nothing that looks more like metal than real metal. So just neutralising that once more, and when that's dry we'll polish that off with the burnishing pen once more, and it's really just a case of repeating the process until you get something that you're happy with. I'm really happy now with how this is looking, really much on the home straight. Just need to use a matte varnish there just to kill the shine on the underframe there, fit the remaining detail parts, and she's going to be pretty much done. We can then have a look at weathering her, and I'll show you that in full. But now let's have a look at what's actually arrived in the post this week. First of all, here's the first package. This is from Market, so I can see, so that's fantastic. Let's open this up, see what we've got. I have a fair idea of what's in here. So just the invoice there, which you don't need to see. Everything's packed as they seem to do now from Markets, which is great. I ordered this less than a week ago and it came all the way to me in Hong Kong in no time at all. So here we go. We have two 14mm diameter 2mm bore flywheels, which is fantastic. I can use those on the C12 and the A1 that we'll be building later on, so it's always good to have those. We've got two packets of crank pin spacing washers, so these are useful when you're just building up the motion on your locomotive kits. Handy to have the right size, just different thicknesses there. And then we have some of the older style Romford crank pins. I tried the new screw style ones and they didn't fit into the wheels, so hopefully these new crank pin sets, well, these are the old style that you can solder. The new ones have pins that you can screw on. So just a couple of little bits there that I forgot last time. Going to be really useful for me for building the locos. I should have everything I need now to finish off the builds. And the next one is, well, I have an idea of what this is. Let's have a little look inside. Open this one up. And yes, it is. Excellent. Nothing else in there. Good. Right, this is Airbrush spares. Now, here we go. So what is this? This is a screw seal. So this enables me to triple seal my airbrush. At the moment it's only got a single seal in there. I'll probably show you this actually if you're interested, just show you how I'm just upgrading my airbrush a little bit. So we'll go from single seal to triple seal with that little piece there. This is a paint cup lid. I happen to have the paint cup here, so that just fits in there like that. So when I'm sloshing the airbrush around, this will stop the paint spilling out. We have here the screw. This is the screwdriver. This is to attach the extra sealing kit there, so I can take apart the airbrush. I'm going to give it a full service, a full clean. It was well overdue. I treat the airbrush really badly. I'll just get the airbrush for you now. Here's my airbrush. I look after it really badly. I've had it for about 8 years. It's a fantastic piece of kit. It's German. It's an Evolution, Hardem Stieback Evolution 2-in-1. It's a really nice double action airbrush. If you're interested, I will show you how I strip it down, clean it. We'll do a whole video on that. I'll fit all these extra parts. This is a new nozzle to replace the old one. Sometimes over time the nozzles split a little bit. You might notice if you get some splattering with your airbrush that's the problem that you might have. So I've just replaced the needle. To be honest, it was long overdue. It's been holding on for a little while now, so I really had to do that. The other thing was, the most important thing that I wanted here was the 0.2mm needle for the airbrush. My needle in this one is actually bent. The tip is bent. You probably won't be able to see it, but the tip on that is bent, so it needed replacing. It's something I've put off for ages. The airbrush works fine, but really if I was going to do any sort of detail work like the weathering that I plan to do on the W1 and the C12, it just wouldn't have been accurate enough. So really nice just to replace that needle and throw the old one away. Here are the seals, the Teflon seals for the triple sealing screw that I got there. So they'll go in. What else we got here? We've got a lid for this cup, again, so I don't have to worry about everything splashing around. And then this is a funny little thing. This is just a cap that goes over the end of the airbrush, so I can blow back through the airbrush. It just helps to clean the airbrush whilst I'm spraying. And I was waiting on those bits really so that I could get on with weathering the C12. So I'll also show you that. We'll do the C12, we'll weather that together, we'll weather the W1 together. So lots of things to be getting on with. And also, having got those bits from Romford's, Market Romford's, I can also carry on with the chassis for the J3. Sorry if there's any noise, they've just decided to start hoovering upstairs and it always makes an absolute racket. But yes, there we go, gearbox, chassis in the Poppies loco jig there, and we can really crack on with that, and I hope to get that done before the beginning of May, and I'll take it back home. And fingers crossed, run it on Little Buy Them. Okay folks, that's it for this week. Please do comment, like and subscribe to the videos. I really appreciate it. We'll probably next time, if we get any questions or anything like that, we'll read them out and I'll try my best to help you with anything, any queries that you might have. So thanks for watching and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.